What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are at Fear the Riff 2018. Today, we got another artist interview. We are here with Jake Bowen of Periphery. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. Mark Holcomb from Periphery was actually my first ever interview before I took on the regular duty of interviewing some heavy duty.
Right on.
Yeah, but it's so great to have you here. Now that your latest record, Select Difficulty, is 2 years old, do you kind of have like a conclusion on the overall record cycle?
I'm really happy with the way that it came out and the touring we did on it, and just it. You know, I keep saying like we're finally distilling like what it is we do and how we work together, and Periphery 3 was a perfect demonstration of that. And we're working on this new record now that we're almost done writing it. I just got back from Maryland, and it's kind of like just more in that direction where we're all just like super comfortable working together, and it's just feeling really good. But you know, we learned a ton working on Periphery 3, and we're all bringing that forward to the new record.
Awesome. Is this new record going to be kind of just like a direct follow-up to it, or because your music is so experimental, are you going to kind of do something different and shock the fans?
There's some shocking moments on this new record, but there's still a lot that makes it Periphery, so hopefully we don't alienate you guys, because I know that's pretty easy. But I think that this one is actually, you know, I always make this joke. You know, whenever you interview somebody about their new record, they're all like, "Oh, it's the best stuff we've ever done. I love it." You know, and like, you know, it gets kind of cliche, but I really do feel that about this. I can't say anything different. So, it's not a direct follow up, but it's in this. It's just a little bit more experimental, but there's a lot of the moments about Periphery, or that people love about Periphery on the record.
That's awesome. And kind of asking a similar question, your music is very experimental. You have, you know, you take a song like Graveless, which is very different from a song like, this is my favorite Periphery song, and I can never pronounce it, Abdoslam off the new.
Oh, Absalom.
Absalom, yeah. That's a very like slow melodic song. Graveless is a little bit heavier. Do you find it, because your music is so experimental, to try new things?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess we're part of this musical genre called gent, but I like to refer to our band as progressive, because when you have the progressive label, you can do things like that. Like you can have like Graveless is like a very thrash metal punk influenced song, but it sounds metal, and something like Absalom is way more proggy. So I want to kind of keep that progressive moniker going, just because I feel like it gives us the license to be experimental like that, and to put moments that are starkly different on the record. So I think on this new one that we got coming out, there's going to be some more shocking, jarring experimentation on there.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I'd also imagine, because your music is so experimental, I mean, you know, I've seen you guys have played with Between the Buried and Me. You were on Summer Slaughter with the Dillinger Escape Plan. You played with Cannibal Corpse. You played with All That Remains. You played with a lot of different bands. So I'd imagine, because your music is so experimental, that's what allows you to be on different bills, right?
Yeah. I think that, you know, because we do dabble in all these styles, it helps us kind of mesh with various fan bases. For like all the bands you mentioned, they're all very different. They're all metal, but they're all very different types of metal, and because of the way that we write, it enables us to kind of like, you know, dabble in each group, and hopefully we find listeners in there.
Yeah. Do you notice maybe like a different reaction in the audience depending on who you play with?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And like sometimes it's not a positive reaction, but I feel like if we're just getting through to at least a couple of people, then that's fine. You know, like I think what's interesting about the metal audience is that they're incredibly discerning and picky, and they know what they like. So we're not totally offended if like people think we suck. It's just kind of, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. Metal is like the only genre which made its own subgenres, after that.
Yeah, the thing about metal listeners is that they want their music, the music that they listen to be special. And if it's not special to them, whatever that criteria is, then they get pissed off about it. So I get it. I mean, I used to be like that.
They refer to you as gent and prog, but I almost don't know what to call you guys, because you have so many different elements.
Yeah, I've always felt that way too. You know, if anybody asks, like, "Oh, what kind of band do you play in?" Metal. You know. Yeah.
You don't need any more after that.
Yeah.
Now, one question I was really curious about is, because you guys are from the Maryland, D.C. area, which is also where Animals as Leaders is from, and you guys kind of have been lumped into the similar category. And, you know, D.C. has so many, like the punk rock scene and the metal scene and everything like that. and Maryland home to Dying Fetus. And was there like a scene that you guys were involved in before you branched out, or did you guys have to kind of leave your hometown in order to get Periphery's name out there?
It's interesting you say that because we're all kind of from all over. Our singer's from California. I'm from New York, and we all moved to Maryland. I live back in New York now, but I'd still say the band is based out of Maryland because that's where we formed. But there wasn't really much of a scene. There were like little like splinters of scenes. Like there was more of like a nu metal like goth scene that was pretty big, and then there was the punk scene in DC, but that was a little bit older, so we didn't really fit in there. Then when we were really starting to play like out and playing our local shows, we kind of just played with a couple of bands that were sort of like us, namely. There's two of that I can think of off the top of my head, and one of them is Haunted Shores, which is Mark's old band.
Okay.
But he reinvented Haunted Shores with Misha, and that's like the continuation of that project. But we used to play with them all the time when they were a different band, and that was a lot of fun, and that's how we met Mark initially. And then the other band was This Time It's War, and I believe they're from Virginia.
Okay.
But
same area.
Yeah, same area, and it was kind of like our three bands, and there are probably others that I'm missing. So, friends, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry if I forgot your band name. but yeah, the three of us would just play locally, and that was our scene. You know, there wasn't much else. There's another mention too. We didn't play too many shows with them except when we started touring, and that was Darkest Hour.
Oh, can't go wrong with Darkest Hour.
Yeah. So
love that freaking band.
Yeah, they're great, and they're legends from. So I guess like they were kind of like the band that was like really making it and doing it while we were just starting. So yeah, real small scene, but not really, not one that is like memorable or that I can really comment on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, quality over quantity. You know what I mean?
I hope so. Yeah.
And the final question is a little bit of gear talk, and I had no idea because, as we mentioned, Mark was my first interview. I thought since he was a PRS user, everybody was a PRS user, but you are an Ibanez, which, you know, being that Dino from Fear Factory is one of my favorite guitar players. It's awesome that you use
Love
an
Dino.
Ibanez.
Yeah.
But so I'm just curious, what is it about an Ibanez that kind of is that like perfect for your sound, and that's why you use it, or was it something you've always used?
It's something that I've been fortunate enough to. I guess Ibanez is a company that I've been exposed to for a really long time. My aunt used to play in a thrash metal band, and she had an Ibanez that she loaned to me. Well, I think she gave it to me now. I still have it. But she gave me one in 1996, and that was the first time I ever played an Ibanez, and that's kind of what I learned all my, my Metallica, my Pantera, my Megadeth riffs on, and it just felt like home. And then as I was getting older, I'm like, well, there's other guitars out there. I should experiment and try different stuff. So I was like, messing with Jacksons and Comparison and Gibsons and stuff like that. And I would always go back to the Ibanez, always. And then I started playing with Periphery, and we started touring, and then 2010 rolled around, and we were in California playing the Whiskey, and an Ibanez rep was there, and he got all of us on board. I was the only one that stayed. But we've had a great relationship, and they take really good care of me, and I just love the way that the guitars play. It's just they just feel like, I don't know if it's because it's like because I played them during my formative years, and they're just, they feel comfortable because of that, or because I just think that they're amazing guitars, and yeah, it could be both. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. Do you think that maybe because Mark sticks with his PRS, and you said that Misha,
he's a Jackson guy.
Yeah. Okay, so you got the Santana, and you got the Santana guy in your band. You got the Revocation guy in your band, and now you got the Fear Factory. I'm just lacking better references. So I'd imagine that just maybe working with different sounds or different types of guitars allow you to bring in different sounds?
I think it's just a comfort thing. I think we all, before Mark was with PRS, he was playing Comparison, which they have this model called the Angelus, which is very reminiscent of the way a PRS plays and looks. I'm not too sure how Misha got hooked on Jackson, but I think it was probably on tour at some point. He was playing, Friends Jacksons.
Did you play with Revocation on that tour?
Yeah. There was a tour we did with Darkest Hour, actually. It was us, Veil Amaya, Revocation, and Darkest Hour.
I blame Dave Davidson.
Yeah. Hey, Dave. But yeah, so it's just kind of, we all have slightly different tastes, and these companies were gracious enough to work with all of us, and they also gave us the opportunity to design our own signature models. So it's just we've just developed separate relationships all at the same time. It's kind of cool.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And amps, do you have a specific with that too, or amps or pedals?
I'm kind of experimenting with my amps right now, but right now I'm really hooked on the PV Invective 120. It's actually an amp that Misha designed, or helped design, and it's just a great versatile amp with great gain channels and a really amazing clean channel. And the thing about amps is, and you might know this, is that you get one or the other. You get a really good clean channel, or you get a really good like high gain, mid gain channels, and this has both. And
is it tube or solid state?
It's tube. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's tube. And but I've always been a Mesa guy. I love Mesa rectifiers, especially the Mark series has always been something that I go after. Live, we use the Fractal Axe Effects 2 preamps, and we run those into power amps. So that way we have all the world class effects that the Fractal has, and the amazing amp models, and we run them into the power sections of our power amps, so we have some stage volume. But the direct signal goes out to the front of house, and our sound guy doesn't have to pull his hair out trying to like mic up the cabs every day. So.
Oh my God, the poor. I was thinking with all the different gear you have to guide. The back of my mind was your poor sound guy.
Oh, he's the best though. His name is Alex Marquides, and he takes such good care of us. He's Big Daddy Marquides. What's up, my man? Yeah.
Well, thank God for him.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you so much for your time. Just the usual. When can we be expecting the new Periphery record, if you're allowed to say?
Yeah, I am. I can only give a vague answer to that, but it's probably early next year, so look out for it.
Awesome. And I'd imagine we'll be seeing you on the road a lot more, right?
I hope so. I need to work.
Yeah, because I think that tour you just did with Car Bomb, that was like the last kind of tour off this record cycle, right?
Yeah, that would be the last one, and that was a great tour, and damn, those Car Bomb guys just kill it.
Those guys are maniacs.
Yeah.
Good shout out to Car Bomb. I love you guys.
Yeah.
But everybody, we are here with Jake Bowen of Periphery. Pick up select difficulty if you haven't already, if you've been sleeping under a rock for these past 2 years, and we'll see you next time on Heavy New York. Fear the Rift 2018, everybody.